Hi, my name's Matthew Oliver. I'm the horticulturist here in the Global Growth Vegetable Garden at RHS Garden Hyde Hall. And today I'm going to talk you through a couple of different methods on how to store and preserve your winter root crops to use them throughout the winter months. So I'm standing next to our crop of carrots. These are our main crop carrots that were sown in June. Now, we could leave these in the ground and dig them up as and when we need them. The risk of doing that is that they are prone to slug damage and you don't really want to be using root crops that have been damaged by the slugs and the snails. And also, if we have a harsh winter and the ground freezes, they can be very difficult to dig up out of the ground when we need them. So we can lift them now. And when we're digging up our carrots, we want to use a digging fork, and we want to come just next door to them so that we're not damaging the roots as we lift them out the ground. So we want to come alongside them and get up and underneath them, and then pulling them by the tops, we want to lift them out the ground. So traditionally, you would then take these to the kitchen, clean them off, and you could quickly blanch them in water and then store them in the freezer. But if you haven't got enough freezer space left, then there are a couple of old-fashioned methods you can use to store these through the winter. So what we would do, we would clean these off, remove as much of the old soil as possible, like this. You could run them under the tap or in a bucket of water. Then we want to take the tops off, shorten them right down, but not remove the tops entirely. So we still want to leave that intact. And then we can store these in boxes or bags of damp sand or potting compost. I suppose you could use an old dustbin as well, that would work. What we're going to use is this old wooden box and some of our potting compost. And what you want is your compost to be damp to the touch, but not sopping wet. Because the idea is we want to preserve these roots. We don't want them to shrivel and dry up, but at the same time, we don't want them to sit wet and start to rot in storage. So we put a layer of this in the bottom of the box. We would clean our carrots off. We want to inspect them for any damage. So if there's any here that have got slug damage or damage from the larva of the carrot root fly, perhaps we wouldn't put those in storage. We'd use those first immediately because they won't keep for a long time. So any clean, undamaged roots, and then we would just tuck them in nice and tightly into the box so they're not touching each other, but they're definitely as close as possible. And build them up in layers, and once we've got them in the box, we then cover them with another layer of compost, like so you can't see them. And then build up another layer of carrots with more compost and another layer until our box is full up. And if the conditions are right, we're going to store this somewhere cool, dry, and preferably frost-free. So a shed, a garage, a basement, somewhere like that would be about right. And they should store nicely to last throughout the winter months.